Hey everyone, Ruben here. I have a new setup, and today we will be reviewing the original DMG Game Boy. I got this, I don't know how long ago. I think I got it on the 2nd of this month with a new Game Boy game, Follow the Foot Clan, to go with my original title, Super Mario Land. This is not my original title. This is obviously done by Nintendo. I don't own the rights to Mario, and if I did, I would have made it weird. But yeah, that's okay. Do not worry about my new setup. I just recently moved into a new home, so that's why it's looking a little weird. Anyway, here is the original Game Boy front to back. And yes, it's one of those that has that little plastic thing to make sure the games don't come out unless you turn it off. It takes 4 AA batteries for those that are wondering. As you can see, the buttons, D-pad, and the screen are all original. I actually like this. I like it a lot. And I have on me on comparison. For comparison. A Game Boy Color. As you can see, the original Game Boy is clearly much bigger. Alright, let's pop a game in and see what we're dealing with. We'll pop in Super Mario Land. And there we are. Super Mario Land. Allow me to increase that. It's displaying some of the gameplay right now. There we go. As you can see, it looks pretty darn good. Now, I'm not going to be doing any gameplay simply because I don't want to get copyrighted. I have maintained that so far. I just don't want to get copyrighted. Now I'll pop in and follow the foot plan. There's Follow the Foot Clan. I'm gonna turn it off before the copyrighted music comes on. Because we all know Ninja Turtles music is copyrighted. I don't want to get copyrighted. Or get a copyright claim. Huh. So, if you ever wondered what the original Game Boy load up looks like without a game in it, you know, if you have a Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Color, this is what it looks like. Just a black bar. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But we ain't done here, Sonny boy. No, no, no. now that we have taken a look at the original Game Boy, especially Game Boy Color, now that we've taken a look at the original Game Boy, it's time to take a look at the Game Boy Color. That's right, this is a 3-in-1 review. So allow me to grab my Game Boy Color. And the games I have for it. Alright, so here is my Game Boy Color. Do you need something? Oh.
Dishes,
The plate.
plate, the bowl, the lid, the fork, the cup,
I didn't even realize.
your Cleveland cup.
Oh, my Cleveland's cup. Okay. Here's that. And here's this. Sorry guys, that was my mom. Anyway, here is my Game Boy Color. Just so you know, I got all these Game Boys used from the exchange. So if they look a little beat up to you, which one's really gonna look beat up, that is why they're used. So are the games. I should have mentioned that. Anyway, here is the startup for the Game Boy Color. There's that. Oh wow, that really takes a while to lay down. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the games. Here we have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. It's got a save battery that still works, by the way. Still works. And we've got Toy Story Racers. These are my only 2 Game Boy Color games. And for those wondering what my age is, no, it's 18. I'm 18 now. Alright, let's pop one of these bad boys into the Game Boy Color and see how it works. You slide them in the back. That's how it's done. Turning off the volume. I don't want to get copyrighted. But here it is. Oh, whoa. That's weird. Anyway. I do believe this is not copyrighted, so I'll turn the volume off of this. And there's that. Alright, that is the Game Boy Color, everyone. And now for the most long segment of today's video. Is the Game Boy Advance. It's not the SP though, I don't have the SP. I only have the original on hand. Planning to get the SP someday. I do have a good bit of Game Boy Advance games. Alright, first up, here is the Game Boy Advance. Now this has clearly been used by someone else, as you can tell. It's really beat up. Yeah. Let's turn this baby on. Oh crap, you probably couldn't see that. Hold on. Alright, there's the Game Boy Advance startup sound. Now let's take a look at the games. So my first game, unfortunately I don't have my second ever Game Boy Advance game. But my first ever game was Masters of the Universe 2002. And I believe my third ever was Power Rangers SPD. Power Rangers to the rescue. Fourth ever was probably Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Fifth, or maybe this was my third, I don't know, was probably Lilo and Stitch. Sixth, I think, was Monsters Inc. Seventh, oh wait, no, this was my third. This was my third of it. This was my third. Incredibles. And for my latest Game Boy Advance game, SpongeBob SquarePants the movie. Now I'm only going to put one of these games in. Because they all have the same load up at the beginning when you turn it on. I don't want to put all my games in, so yeah. So we'll just do, we'll just do Lilo and Stitch. So pop it in. Come on, let's get that click. Oh, come on, why didn't I get that click? I promise, guys, we will get the click. Okay, whatever. Skip it. And here it is. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. So let me know what you think down below in the comments. Let me know if you liked it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe if you haven't. And of course, make sure you share this video with all your friends, your parents. Ask them if they grew up with any Game Boy. If they do, say yes. Show them this video. I also should mention that the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Color take 2 AA batteries. But anyway, yeah. So that's pretty much it. So please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends and family, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out, Rangers.